The highly anticipated Formula One vehicle for the 2023 season has been revealed. The RB19 is an improved version of the previous RB18 from Red Bull. With its double championship victory in 2022, the squad has no incentive to take any unnecessary risks. Red Bull are going to be nigh on unbeatable going into the new season based on a combination of secret weapons they have in their pockets. With testing underway this week in Bahrain, we are yet to see how the new car will feel. But what are these secret weapons, you may ask? Well, sit back and let's get on with the video to find out. Now that Red Bull has won both world championships since 2013, in 2022, the team plans to keep its stranglehold on the sport in the forthcoming season. The team, led by Max Verstappen, who won his second driver's title in a row by dominating the field and winning 15 of 22 races, is looking to keep raising the bar in Formula One. A revitalized Ferrari squad plans to fight Red Bull for the championship this season. At the same time, Mercedes is hopeful that their improved W14 Challenger would inspire Lewis Hamilton and George Russell to bounce back from a lackluster season and once again fight for the title. There is some differences between the new RB19 and the last year's RB18 from what we have seen on day one of the Bahrain testing. To begin, the leading edge of the front wing is loaded more consistently over its span, resulting in a smoother airflow to the side pods. A full-width slot gap remains between the first and second assembly elements, enhancing airflow to the nose's bottom. It appears like the second element's chord has risen at the point of integration with the nose, despite the fact that the photographs were taken at somewhat different angles. Each flap's chord length is set by the location of the slot gap, which indicates when the flow on the underside has become sluggish and might benefit from an injection of high energy flow from the top side. As it holds up the second compartment, the nose has a little broader and a flatter front. Among these possibilities are the fact that the mounting for the front wing is more secure and the fact that it is somewhat broader, both of which contribute to a lighter overall structure for the frontal impact test. Everything that can be done to reduce the vehicle's weight is a huge bonus. The design of this year's front suspension is comparable to that of previous year. Red Bull uses an integral spring medium that is activated by a pull rod. Both the front and back legs of the lower wishbone and track rod have an identical wishbone and track rod configuration. However, the photographs we have from the testing aren't quite straight on, but it appears like Red Bull has increased the top wishbone inboard pickup angle, as can be seen on the front leg and the back leg. It was one of the only teams to focus on this aspect as much as they did in 2017, and if it can keep the ride height stable during braking by adjusting the geometry, it will increase the reliability of the downforce generated by the underfloor. Similarities may be seen in the radiator's intake. It seems like it's gotten shallower and broader, but these are really minor adjustments. When seen from the side, there are some minor visual distinctions between the two bodies of the RB19 and RB18. What could be the biggest difference maker, however, are the side pods. Although at first glance the side pods look identical to last year's car, Red Bull has adopted a refined and aggressive approach to the design of the entire vehicle. Red Bull has been able to advance the design of the side pods, while many other teams have spent the winter trying to replicate their success. The undercut on the top of the side pods is a little bit different. The body surfaces are obviously damaged by all these mechanical components, since they have to be enclosed inside these body surfaces, such as the cooling package and the side impact structures. The cooling system has been downsized, allowing for more room to be created in the channel connecting the side pod's lower profile to the floor. Reducing the radiator's capacity will result in less heat being transferred. The gills at the bottom of the engine cover have been enlarged to better regulate the power unit's operating temperature. This year's rules call for an increase of 15 mm in the height of the outer sides of the floor, so it makes sense to direct more of the airflow from the front suspension into the undercut area, where it can then pass into the Coke bottle section where the bodywork comes inwards between the rear tires. When compared to 2022, the undercut doesn't look all that different. The volume is about the same, despite the fact that it has somewhat different profile. Again, this is likely a packing necessity, but the junction between the side surface and the upper surface of the undercut is slightly different and more abrupt. With the Red Bull, we now get a good look at how the team has dealt with the new rules that raise the car's outside borders, which has been one of the biggest challenges. Red Bull's first attempt to address the 2023 shift appears to be fairly extensive, and this is an area of the vehicle that the team seemed to grasp very well last year. On the front corner of the subfloor, where several underfloor splitters make a sharp outward bend, there are two thin strips that direct airflow away from the room. This red floor will combine with the flow entering the bottle from the suspension to form the blue flow entering the Coke bottle. A small neat change in the side wing piece does little in terms of helping to seal the edges of the floor, but it does create a slot gap between the edge of the main section of the floor and its undersurface, which is effectively the outside edge of the floor assembly. This implies that as the floor's edges approach the ground, air may flow through that slot and the area's sensitivity is decreased. This modifies the floor seal so that it operates less like an on-off switch and more like a dimmer. Red Bull has been utilizing Flow-V's paint to observe the traffic patterns in this region. CFD projections will be compared to this floor, and some modest adjustments are expected to be made in response. The beam wing, and more specifically, its upper flap trailing edge, stands out in this comparison as the most distinctive feature. During the 2022 season, Red Bull used a beam wing design that consisted of two individual wings instead of the more common two-element wing with a slot gap between them. This year's beam wing is a more traditional two-element design, at least in this preliminary iteration. The off-season, before the 2023 season, should have provided teams enough time to rethink their designs in light of the upcoming changes to ground clearance, front wings, roll hoops, and other restrictions. These changes, while significant, are not nearly as significant as the one made at the start of the previous season, so we should not anticipate a resurgence of issues like porpoising that afflicted Mercedes, Ferrari, and others. Although Mattia Binotto at Ferrari and Christian Horner at Red Bull have equal resources to throw at any faults and improvements they identify, Mercedes will be hoping that the time they have spent to develop their design will give them the chance to climb back to the head of the pack next season. As the 2023 season approaches, all eyes are on Red Bull to see if they can continue their winning streak and maintain their status as the team to beat. Will they be able to defend their title against fair competition from the likes of Mercedes and Ferrari? Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain, Red Bull are a force to be reckoned with in the world of motorsports. Whether you're a die-hard fan or simply a casual observer, it's impossible to not be impressed by their incredible achievements and unwavering dedication to excellence. It's gonna be interesting to see what the new season will bring. Red Bull has chosen to evolve with its 2023 car, following in the footsteps of its major opponents from 2022, Ferrari, and occasionally Mercedes, who never truly got the best out of their cars last year. There are several tweaks here and there, but no major shifts in principle. It will come down to whomever improved their situation the most by making the most of what they had last year or by making the most of power unit reliability adjustments. What do you think about the new Red Bull car RB19? Does it exceed or fulfill your expectations? Let us know in the comments below, and see you next time.